All right. Got a new toy today. All right, so today we have the Masterbuilt Adventure Series electric smoker. Man, I strive to be like this guy. Look at how much stuff he has in there. Oh, so styrofoam out. Never mind. There we go. Ta-da! That's a lot easier. I will say they do ship it pretty good. I have this on the ground, but I don't think there's legs on it. Of course not. So, yeah, when you take it out, don't set it right on the ground because there's a little pan down here and there's no legs. I'm gonna have to lay this down on its side. Why would you ship it like this? So I just took this whole thing out. I set it on the ground thinking that there was legs installed, but instead I'm just resting on this plastic tray. Crack this open and it looks like all your goodies are in here. This looks promising. All right, so we got 2 casters. Now where's the feet? Nope, that's not where the legs are. You know what? Hold on. The legs have got to be in here, right? Nope. These had better be the freaking legs. Finally, I put it inside the wood chip tray. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna do this first. So if you look at it, it looks like there's a left side and a right side. Obviously, this fits onto here. This one, you can't really screw it up. The idea is to put the wheels in the back like that. So you put a bolt through here and a couple screws on the other side. Okay, so it looks like they give you a bolt with a nut on here. So what we end up doing is you turn that. So the smoker normally sits on this part of the leg. And then when you want to move it, you just lean it back and then you roll it on the wheels. We'll just turn it hand tight for now. We'll level it later. Now the front side, you just use this little puck, concave side down, put the nut in here, and screw it all the way in. And there you go. All right, I'm gonna close this and flip it over. And then do the same thing on this side. Here's something I'm already not quite impressed about. So you got some warpage right here. The rivets aren't exactly done very well. Kind of at a weird angle. Yeah, every now and then you get a rivet that just doesn't look like it sits right. So some quality control down here could be nicer. What the heck? All right, so here's another good one. This bolt goes in here to hold on this caster. What the heck am I gonna do with that? Just great. That fit and finish. How are you that far off? All right, so I managed to get this caster on here by cutting out this little bit of an ear that was blocking the way. So this is actually just to add a little bit more rigidity to it. Most of the weight when the smoker is sitting is transferred to this leg. It doesn't sit on these wheels. So when you tilt it back to roll on these wheels, the load is actually transferred to this bracket here and this bracket over here. So this wasn't that critical, and it was such a small sliver that I was able to just chop it off real quick with a hacksaw. So now I can actually screw this in here and have both the wheels and the legs on my smoker. It's kind of annoying that I had to do that, but here we are. All right, and there we go. We got both casters on there with legs. Okay, now let's just try to stand this up. Anyways, this is a 30-inch smoker. So I guess that 30-inch means like top to bottom. So yeah, that's right there at 30 inches, minus the feet. This is an electric smoker with 800 watts of power, a glass front. Let's open it up here. Let's start at the bottom and go up. So you have this removable drip tray right here that has a hole in the back that'll drain to yet another hole in the way back. And that actually comes out into this little drain hole here. And then this drip tray you can remove to dispose of your drippings. I said the word drips a lot. But anyways, that stays here. So going back around to the front. So above that, you have your 800-watt heating element. And if you pull this out, this is your wood chip tray. So your element is right there. And your wood chip tray goes right above it. So you can load the wood chips just by putting it directly in here, or you can use that little chute back here, and that comes out the side right here. So you turn this way, you pull it out, you can drop your wood chips in here. Then once you insert it and you turn it like this, it dumps the wood chips into that tray inside. So you put it in like so, and then you put it in here so that it's deep in the well there. Then you turn it and it actually stays stuck in there. But once you turn it, it dumps the wood into this tray right there. Now above that, this is just a shield that prevents any splatter from coming from your smoked food and everything. So if it drips down here, it'll keep it from going right into the wood and into the heating element. Now above that is your moisture tray. You can put your juices in here and it'll catch any of the drippings that are coming down, as well as provide moisture for your smoked protein that you're smoking. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves. So technically you could count these 2 as extra shelves, so 6 if you will. But these just lift right on out and you have bigger space in here for larger things. That's all there. And then of course your meat probe thermometer just kind of hangs out off to the side here. So you can pull these shelves out. Just make sure that when you install them, you put that little lip here at the back side. If you put it in the front side, you won't have this safety feature where it stops it from coming out too far. So if you installed it correctly and you pull it out, it actually locks itself into place if you have anything on this shelf. So you can push that. That's annoying. See that right there? There's not a good way to maybe take this out, push it in, and then put this meat thermometer back. But this is honestly kind of annoying. I didn't realize how it just hangs out like that. Maybe I can tuck it in or something, because you don't want it to be like out here and then you close the door on it, then you don't have a good seal. This is the thermostat where you can set all your controls and everything. Is this supposed to be? Oh yeah, it's supposed to go in here. I mean, I guess it's simple enough. You have 2 leads coming out of the controller and you have 2 leads coming out of the smoker. Yeah, you can't really screw this up, right? You connect that to here. Then you take this and there you go. Okay, so that is connected. I don't want to bend this too much because then it'll put a lot of stress on the connector. There we go. Now the bend is in the wire and not the connector. You line that screw that half sticks out into this keyhole and then you slide it forward. There we go. And then there's 2 screws in the back that we're gonna put in. There you go. So now that's on here. All right, so let's just go over this interface real quick. Right here, we have the power button. So you push that to turn it on. And that button tells you that you have power. Over here, you can see that you have your up and down arrow, your temperature setting, and your time setting. So let's just go ahead and try to turn this on. So we'll set it to, looks like 275 is your highest temperature. And then you set your time. It looks like your max setting is 24 hours and 59 minutes. There you go. Then when you press this time button, you can see that this heating element has turned on. So the internal temperature of the smoker is currently at 84 degrees. It is 24 hours and 59 minutes left of the time that I set. And then if you press this button over here, which is the meat probe thermometer, you will get the temperature at the meat probe thermometer. So I learned that it actually doesn't stop the cook, but it helps you monitor the temperature of the meat. So that's kind of handy, because then I don't have to open the smoker in order to check the temperature of the meat. Okay, so the final piece we have to install yet is this little handlebar back here. Okay, there we go. So now we got everything else installed. So I think that's it. It's all the parts that we got to put on here. Oh, got to take that sticker off. This is always the most fun part of, oh my gosh, it's a vinyl. Okay, this sort of makes up a little bit for the rivets, but still not for the casters. That still sucks. Masterbuilt MES 130 electric smoker. Before we wrap this up, just a couple more things I noticed here. For some reason, there's a divot here in this gasket. This door has a piece of plastic that just goes down and it makes the gasket dip here. But everywhere else seems to be pretty good. Just to nitpick some more here, you can see here that my section of the glass on the inside has this big dent in here. Probably something from the shipping slammed up against here and it kind of, you know, just bent the metal. But other things that I've noticed, you see this gasket that kind of sticks out a bit here. It's fine here, but it sticks out in the corner. So it might start to collect some food and other moistures. But on the plus side, it looks like they have a pretty good condensate drip diverter. So this glass will start, well actually this whole door will start to have condensate buildup and it'll start running down. It'll go into this diverter, which then when you close the door, it'll drip into this drip tray and run into the tray out back instead of just kind of pooling down here and making a big mess. So this latch, you have to make sure that you have this open all the way because there's 2 points of pivot. If you open it all the way up, you can see that this extends out all the way. So when you close it, it pulls the door shut. So when you want to close the door, open it all the way, flip this out, close the door, then it'll hold on to it. Then you can squeeze this shut. All right, so looks like my next step is to find some meat and find some friends. Let's go. There it goes. We got the ribs in here. You can actually see the smoke kind of billowing out from underneath there. I'm not going to open it up, of course, so the window's kind of silly in the fact that you can't really see the food, but you can see the smoke that's being created, which is kind of more important anyways. We're coming back up the temperature. We have it set at 225, and the meat thermometer, we don't have it stuck in here, so if you press that, it reads a very different temperature because it's stuck to the exterior side of the smoker. The temperature that's being shown here, that's at 210, that's from a thermocouple that's sticking into the smoker a little bit more. So that's more accurate. If I had this inside of a piece of meat, then maybe I would trust this a bit more. But right now, I'm ignoring this temperature. You can see here that when it turns red, that means the heating element is on, and that helps produce the smoke. We also made sure that this is leveled so that the drip tray would function properly. Alright, so I'm guessing the wood chips are empty because the smoke is gone, so I'm just going to reload some of this. Alright, so this is the day after our big cookout, and here's some thoughts about the smoker. So, overall, it actually did an amazing job and produced the best ribs we have ever had in a very long time. So if we open this up, we can see the carnage that's inside right now. You can see the smoke and the sauce and the drippings are pretty much everywhere. And turns out the see-through window was somewhat useful. I mean, it's cool to see your food smoking and cooking inside and to be able to see that the smoke is actually generating, but the most part, with all the condensation and sauce on here, it's not a really good view at all. But anyways, it's nice to have. I like it. So the 4 shelves in here are pretty good. We were able to get a full rack of ribs diagonally for spare ribs, and then the baby back ribs, which aren't as long, they were able to fit side to side 2 per rack. So if we had just done baby back ribs, we could have gotten 8 full racks in here. But we did 3 spare ribs and 2 baby back ribs, and they all fit inside the smoker and cooked phenomenally. All of the drippings kind of fell down here, and very little of it actually came out the backside. So you can see that the tray hardly had anything in here. The annoying thing is that this meat probe thermometer actually kept getting in the way. You see that every time we pulled it out and pushed it back in, it would actually kind of get stuck. So it would get caught inside of this groove, and then as you're pushing it back, it gets caught up some more. So then you'd have to like pull it out, move the thermometer out, and then stick it back in. So after a while, we realized that if we just shoved it way in the back, so that's behind the rack, it actually was a lot easier to move the racks in and out. So this wood tray, the loader is actually super nice because you didn't have to keep opening this to reload the chips, and thus it maintained temperature better. So we were just able to turn this counterclockwise, pull this out, drop some wood chips in here, drop it all over the place as well, stick it in here, and just turn it to deposit it. One great thing that you can tell is you can actually load this twice. So if you turn it upside down, all the wood falls into the tray. You can actually turn it around, load it again, and then turn it over once more. So you can actually load it twice in one go, and it'll last a lot longer than if you just did it one at a time. Because when you turn it over the second time, the wood doesn't actually fall into the tray. It still stays in here. So you actually can't turn this back to get it back out again. But we found that if you load it twice, it'll last longer. So the interface was actually fantastic. We were able to see this very clearly, albeit we're under a patio, but still, we were able to read the time and the temperature very well. So we did about 6.5 hours for the ribs, and it's a 3-2-1 method. So 3 hours to smoke, 2 hours wrapped, and then 1 more hour unwrapped to get it a good bark. And those were the best ribs ever. So at the end of the day, this is a smoker that's under $300. So for that price point, it works phenomenally. We got delicious ribs out of there. It functions great, it insulates well, and it makes really good smoke. So that's what you want in a smoker, right? The quality control could be a little bit better. The rivet works. We'll see if it holds up. The caster I was a little annoyed about, but I made it work, so we'll let them know. Maybe they'll fix it in the next batch. But otherwise, I'd give it like a 4.5 out of 5 for this price range. So I'll throw a link in the description below if you want to learn more about this smoker. This is the Adventurous series with the window, and it's awesome for the price. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.